Hi, my name is Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to the last podcast where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time finding the channel, thank you. I'm happy. Welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. Today, I have a question. Have you ever had that feeling that something was missing in your life? You just couldn't quite know what it is, but you knew it was something that was missing. That longing or a nagging feeling that you had deep down inside. I've had it. So I know I'm talking from experience as well. Some people try and find answers, but to no avail. Only to find the answers is as elusive as a needle in a haystack. So, how do we find those answers and where do we go from there, right? Perhaps you've gone from job to job. You're in the hopes that you can find that one thing that adds value and meaning to your life and gives you a sense of purpose or completeness. Some people may even go as far as missing that one element in their life, and they find or look for that one thing that they feel that they're missing inside of a romantic relationship. That might be you. I don't know. But I believe that at some point in time, we always or all had that one feeling something might be missing. And it doesn't matter how successful you are, it doesn't matter how unsuccessful you are. There's always that feeling that, and let me put it this way, some people might even have a feeling that, you know, out of all that I've done, out of everything that I'm doing in my life, I still feel that I was meant for something a whole lot greater than what I'm experiencing in my life right now. So, is that you? Have you ever felt that feeling? Many people say careers, partners, education, more money, in the efforts just to find that one thing that might complete them or that one thing that just might be missing. So, what is it that we're looking for? What is that one thing that might be missing? And better yet, ask yourself this: what do I feel might be missing in my life? And then ask a follow up question: why do I believe that this might be that one thing and that's missing in my life? And then the second and the third question you might want to ask yourself: if I had that one thing I believe or think might be missing in my life, how would my life be? How would it change? How would I act? How would I feel? All those questions, right? So you definitely need to ask the question: what's missing in my life? What do you think is missing? So I want you to start thinking on those possibilities and what could be missing, and ask yourself that. Why? Why is it important to ask yourself that? Because it's going to allow you to start thinking. It's going to allow you to start digging a little deeper and getting underneath the surface, so to speak. Pull out a shovel and start digging in the depths of your soul, your mind, your being. Some people may even look for relationships. They might find that in that one thing, that relationship that gets them going, only to find later on in that relationship, because once you find a good relationship, you're happy, you're excited, and once that dissipates, guess what resurfaces? That same old feeling that something's missing. So we think that, oh well, the fire might have died down in our relationship because now I got that same nagging feeling. That might not be the case. That relationship might be flourishing, might be thriving, but there is a deeper issue. The only way you're going to find out is if you start to simply do what I'm asking you to do. Ask yourself questions. So I'm going to give you a quick story. It's a quick story. I'll make it quick. Let's just say that. Um, I wanted, and I told the story many times. I wanted to start a podcast, and it was nagging me. It was that one feeling inside of me that I wanted to do something, and fear stopped me, and I talked about that in previous podcasts. But last year, I was dealing with my wife who passed away in April, and she was sick. She was in the hospital for 84 days. I was there with her for 84 days. And I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't know it at the time that it was such an ordeal, and it was affected me in so many different ways. I had no clue. It was the first time, and let me just tell you this. I Prior to my wife being in the hospital, I lost all my family members that I grew up with. So my wife was the last link of family that I had. I knew my wife for 43 years. We were friends. We were married for 26 years. So I needed something to do to help me unravel and understand what it was that I was going through. And then when she passed, I realized, man, everything and all the mourning of all the family members hit me all at once. It was like I grew up, I had an abundance of people around me, and now, boom, nobody here. No one to call, no one to talk to. And I'm going to tell you this. We believe, like, sometimes you get married and a lot of people are well-rounded. They have friends, they have co-workers. Me, I didn't have any friends. My wife was my best friend. So I come home to my wife every day. So she was my best friend. So I didn't feel the need, to be honest with you, of having other friends. But in hindsight, I see that was something I should not have done, because friends could have helped me even better to deal with what I was dealing with. So guess what I did? I read all the books. I read so many different books on grieving, because I couldn't understand my feelings and what I was going through and how I felt, and even the dark moments in my life where I said, why them? Why not me instead? And, take me instead. Leave them here. And I went through all of those feelings, and the grief of being the sole survivor and so on and so forth, and the different stages of grief. But this podcast, I started while she was in a hospital. I knew it was something that I had to deal with, and I'm going somewhere with this story. So bear with me one moment, because I'm pouring my soul out here to you, and I don't even know you. But I started this podcast, and I found out during the whole course of the year last year that this podcast was more therapeutic than anything. And that made me also realize the power of questions. But you want to know something that was even more powerful than the questions? The answers to those questions. They're like the light that comes in a dark moment and just gives you an idea and say, this is what's happening. This is why you feel that way. The light presents itself in a way where you have a relief come over you. So I talked about what I felt. I talked about how much I loved my wife. I talked about the family members that I lost. So talking, I realized that it allowed me to be my own therapist, so to speak. So I understand the power of having a therapist, because out of all the books that I read, out of all the reading that I read on grief and motivation and inspiration and how we can deal with personal development, how do we get past different areas of our lives or different events happening to us in our lives, I wanted to make sure that whatever was happening, that I'll come out a whole lot healthier than what was going on back then. And believe me when I tell you, I wasn't in a good place. But it was through talking. And then not only that, I realized that people were saying, "Hey, look, what you were going through, I'm going through something similar. That resonated with me. Hey, thanks, because now, I realize that there's a way to deal with this and I'm not alone." I also realized at that moment, I am also not alone. So what does all that or that story has to do with this podcast now? Simply this. I believe when we are missing something in our lives, we owe it to ourselves to ask the question, what might that be? What do we believe that is missing in our lives? Some people may find what they're looking for and others may not at all. The graveyard is filled with people who have passed away without realizing their dreams, their true potential or purpose in life. I believe that we must find where that feeling is coming from, whether it's a feeling of emptiness or it's a nagging feeling that we were meant to do something more in life, or that feeling that something's missing in my life. Have you been there? Are you going through that right now? I believe that there is a way that we can find out what those things are. So I understand now why people go to therapists. I understand now why people look for coaches, because they have the keys, the questions that will help you unlock the doors to a whole deeper issue that lies underneath the surface that you may not even be privy to until you are asking those specific questions. So you have to find out what it is, whether you're here for a greater purpose or whatever. Why are you here, right? So you want to know what's missing. I believe we need to find out how we feel of what might be missing. So, do you have a larger purpose in life? I mean, I went to work, helped take care of my family. I did the best that I could. But out of all the years, I realized there was still something missing. I was soul searching. I was trying to read books, trying to find out what it is that might be missing in my life. Well, I'll tell you my truth at the end of this. Hopefully, I don't forget. But I want to help you try to uncover what might be missing in your own life, right? So, what do you think of yourself? And I'm going to stop here for one moment before I even ask that question, because everybody has this one particular question that I think you ask at one point in time in your life. And what might be that question? I think you already know the answer to that. Why am I here? What's the purpose of my own existence? We've all asked that one question. And guess what? I believe the answer lies within us. So you definitely need to be like an onion and start peeling away and peeling back the layers until you get to the core, until you get to the inner you, the core of your being, to help you uncover your true purpose in life and why you're here and so on and so forth, right? So, why are you here? What is your purpose? And what do you think? I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, what do you think of yourself? As a man thinketh, so is he. I was in a store the other day, and I said to the guy at the register, I said, "So how you doing?" He said, "I am feeling fantastic." And I said, "Wow, that's great attitude." He said, "Hey, every day is great with the Lord." And I said, "Oh my goodness, as a man thinketh, so is he." So he thought every day is great because he has the Lord with him. He believes in the Lord and he trusts in the Lord. Okay, what do you believe about yourself? Again, as a person thinks, so are they, right? What do you believe about yourself? And the reason why that question is so powerful, because sometimes what we believe of ourselves and who we are, it's sometimes turned into a fact for us, when in fact, it really may not be at all. It's just how we perceive ourselves. It's just something in how we view, how we look at our own selves through the lens of our clarity or uncertainty or unclear perception. Sometimes to find out who we are, we may need to change lens to see clearly who that might be by peeling back the layers and asking ourselves a certain question or a series of questions, right? So I want you to explore who you are and what areas of life you feel, or in your areas of life you feel that something might be missing. I want you to look at those things. Is it try to figure out if it's success driven? What does success look like for you, right? If it's health driven, what does being healthy look like for you in your life? If it's knowledge driven, what does having the right amount of knowledge, education, or wisdom, or expertise, or proficiency look like for you? And ancient writings, and I get it, if you want to go out for wisdom, if you want to go out for understanding, I got all of that, because I remember reading the ancient writings: get wisdom, get understanding, and forget it not. That's in Proverbs, and that was written thousands of years ago, right? So if we get wisdom and forget it not, then wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So if wisdom is your thing, if learning is your thing, I got that too. But what is it really for you? What does having all the wisdom look like for you? When we're young, we all aspire to be somebody or have a certain type of career. And when we enter teenage years, early adulthood, many of us have dreams that we aspire to. We figure out, this is how I want to live the rest of my life. But sometimes those things, those dreams have to be put on the back burner. Why? Because sometimes life derails our dreams, and we have to put them on hold, whether it's to raise a family and provide a roof over their heads, doing grown-up things like paying bills and taking care of our children, because we want the best for them, right? So what happens after that? Well, life gets in the way, life beats us up, and we get tired, right? Sometimes our dreams and everything else is put on hold because we've lived our life, we took care of our family. And the sad reality is, after we've done all those things, raised our family, raised our kids, and took care of our family, many of us feel so tired from life's storms beating us down that we become numb to our own dreams and never take our dreams back off hold. We succumb to living the rest of our lives not by realizing our dreams, hopes, and aspirations, or even ambitions. I believe we must take back our dreams and be inspired to live with passion, vigor, and explore the meaning of life, or what that means, that or what that might be missing to complete us. Do you believe that? Have you even gone through anything like that? And for the young people, it's all about finding an alignment in life where they can feel that, what, I feel that I want to go in this direction in life. The only way you're going to find out if it works is to take that direction. But when you don't take action, that's when you're going to fail. I believe we have to take all of the action that we possibly can. And we have to do things and ask ourselves some series of questions that will basically allow us to find out what we might be missing in our lives. And you don't know that, right? You don't know. I also believe that no one can give you the answers. You have to find those answers for yourself. You have to be a voyager. You have to go on a journey, a voyage, and look deep in the reservoir of who you lie, who you are, and that's basically where your answers might lie. I want you to think about some questions that you can ask yourself. And in the description, I'll have a link for you guys where there's like two sheets where you can ask yourself a series of questions just to help get you started. I believe that for me, the questions that I started asking myself is why, what, how, because I wanted to know why I was feeling the way I was feeling. So I had to look for the answers. I had to start asking myself some crucial questions. Why do I feel so empty inside? Yes, I had to ask myself that question. Why do I feel so empty inside? After losing all the loved ones I had to dig deep to find out why I was asked. How could I feel that void? And I'll tell you real quickly what I did to help fill the void. I prayed. I relied on my spirituality and prayed. And before I knew it, I didn't even realize it was happening. I prayed that God would take care of the void and fill that void. And oh my goodness, He's done just exactly what I asked and prayed for. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying that's one of the things I had to do. I had to ask myself some serious questions because I was in a dark place, but I was brought to light. So questions are powerful because it allows us to search. It allows us to go on a journey to find the answers that might be deep down inside. And that's why I feel it's so crucial that some of us may not even be able to find the answers because we don't know what questions to ask ourselves. That's why sometimes a coach, that's what sometimes for trauma therapists are great people because they help you sift through all the clutter and help you zero in what might be missing and how you can recover what's missing or uncover to let something out and flourish within you. So, if you ever felt something missing in your life, what do you think it might be? Don't you think you owe it to yourself to find out? Especially if you've been feeling this way for a long period of time. Don't you think you owe it to yourself to try to peel back the layers of yourself, of your being, and try to focus on what might, and let me tell you something, I've done this. I pulled back the layers and I've uncovered so much about myself and never knew. And sometimes what blocks us from moving, some people in life, they are successful and they get to this one point in life where they can't seem to move any further. Something's blocking them. Right? You might be so successful in so many different areas, but this one area you can't seem to be successful in. Something is blocking you. You need the right questioning to unlock the answers. And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes a little soul searching. Sometimes you have to peel back the layers to find out what it was that was stopping you, what it is that might be stopping you now, what it is that might be missing in your life right now. So if you are able to ask the right questions and uncover all the things that you feel, and let me tell you something, you might think it might be one thing that's missing in your life, and come and after you peel back the layers of your being and you do some soul searching, you'll find that you'll uncover mysteries about yourself you would not even imagine. And you'll wind up living a more fulfilling life, a more balanced life. Self exploration will take you on, some might say, soul seeking journey that will uncover mysteries of your life, true purpose. Because some people feel that I'm here for a much greater reason and I don't know why. Do some soul searching. This is not something that you can do in one day. It takes time. It takes purpose. It takes you being deliberate, trying to find what it is that you might be missing. Only if you dare to explore your inner self with vigor, inquisitiveness, and a voracious aptitude for truth hidden inside of you, it can literally change your life. So, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast, and just so you know, I've changed my life, and I'm changing my life every single day. And it's through a series of questions. I have a link that will allow you to grab onto some questions, start asking yourself, and be brutally honest with yourself, because it's the only way it works. I mean, you can fool everybody else, but you're not going to fool yourself. Are you tired of not knowing what it is that you are missing in your own life? Then you owe it to yourself to take some time and start asking yourselves some serious questions of what might be missing. If you want further help, you can have further help. Like I said, you can reach out to me, but right now I just want you to start asking yourself some simple questions. And believe me, sometimes you're going to have to go a whole lot deeper than that. Sometimes it might even take a month just asking yourselves questions and going through a series of activities to find the answers that you're seeking. Hey, again, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast, and the first shall be last and the last shall be first. I thank you so much for blessing me with your precious time, and I hope you continue to come back and do me a favor, subscribe, like, and share this podcast with your family, friends, associates, and co-workers. You mean the world to me, but more importantly, you mean the world to you. Find out what's missing in your life. Thanks a lot for listening. Be blessed. Have a great day.